So many tennis players try to direct the ball the wrong way by kind of micromanaging or trying to control their racket. They don't realize how small the amount of time is that the ball is actually on the strings. And this drill really helps identify where you're getting tight and tense, where you're starting to maybe steer the ball. And what we're gonna do here is just simply use the alley as a target. This is our target zone. It's 4.5 feet wide, which is a significant amount of real estate to work with. And all I'm gonna do is stand right up next to the alley here. And the first kind of progression here is I'm simply going to smoothly shadow swing through some forehands. And as I do this, I'm going to visualize two things. Number one, my contact point happening right at the precise moment that my strings are facing down the line or directly down the alley. Remember, the ball's only on the strings for a couple milliseconds. So what you don't want to do is, as your racket approaches the ball, try to somehow like maneuver the racket or lock it down or kind of like steer the ball in the right direction, which is what a lot of tennis players do all over the court with their shots. When you watch elite, really talented, skilled players, there is no tightness or tension or like steering of the ball. They're totally fluid and loose and relaxed. And so it's not a matter of locking the racket down that allows them to be precise. Instead, it's the timing and the relationship between where the ball is and where the strings are facing at that precise instant that the ball is touching the strings. So make a few shadow swings, visualizing your point of contact and that your strings are going to be facing right at the alley as you make that point of contact. Then go ahead and grab a couple balls. You don't need a partner or a ball machine, and just drop and move through that smooth, relaxed motion. And keep it really calm and relaxed, maybe 50% speed at most. That was probably 25% for me. Just keep it really calm and relaxed. And if you hit the alley, great. If instead, let's say you hit to that side of the alley, well, I know my contact point was a little bit too far in front of me. That's why the ball went in that direction. So on the next one, I need to drop the ball a little bit further back so that my natural contact point has the strings angled a little bit more towards the alley. And so I'll bring my contact point back a little bit, drop the ball, make my swing. Okay, great. If on the next one, I make a smooth swing and the ball goes there, well, I know that my contact point was a little far back, and so my strings were angled in that direction, and so I need to adjust my contact position. I can drop the ball a little bit further in front of me, make a swing. Okay, I need to make more of an adjustment a little further in front. Fantastic. Spend some time here and just fine-tune things. You're not going to ever get to the point where you drop and hit the middle of the alley every single shot. Even in this kind of environment where you're totally isolated, there's no footwork, there's no variability at all you're doing is dropping the ball, you're still not going to be able to be precise enough to hit exactly the same spot every time. And so the point isn't being perfect, the point is being able to identify where the ball went different from where your target was, and then reverse engineer and backtrack and say, okay, what adjustment should I make now? And the adjustment should never be, if I miss the ball, let's say over there, the adjustment should never be, okay, I need to steer the ball more this way. But that's how you see a lot of tennis players hitting the ball. So after you've spent some time here with the alley, we can go back to the baseline and utilize the same kind of principle and focus in a little bit more real life situation. The lesson you're watching right now is taken directly from my new book, Essential Tennis. If you're enjoying it, please know that this book is full of 38 other lessons, all focused on the fundamental areas of tennis that you need to get better. So go check it out on Amazon or wherever else books are sold. Now we're back on the baseline and we have a very specific target over on the other side. It's a big orange cone. You can use whatever you want. You can put a ball, a pyramid, over on the other side and use that as a target, or a water bottle or whatever. And now we're going to use the same principles we did using the alley. We're going to drop, hit with the cone as the target, and each time I hit a ball, I'm going to make a small adjustment with my contact point while focusing on staying super loose and relaxed and not steering and trying to guide the ball in the right direction. So I'll go ahead and just make 2 or 3 smooth shadow swings, remind myself of the fluidity I want to use, and then drop and hit. Oh, I was hoping maybe I hit it my first try. Anything within 6 feet of that precise spot is a thumbs up. That's a success. 6 feet. We're far away from the ball now. It's 78 feet from baseline to baseline. That target's halfway between the service line and the baseline. So we're probably a solid, 60 feet, 65 feet away from the ball. So I'm sorry, away from the cone. So a small adjustment too far in front, and you're going to miss your target by 10 feet. A small adjustment with a contact point further back, and you're going to miss your target 6 or 8 or 10 feet the other way. So anything that you hit, so that was too far out in front, all you're doing here is getting familiar with the relationship between contact point and direction of shot. Okay, both those were a little bit too far towards the middle. Yeah. Anything that hits the cone obviously is perfect. Like, it couldn't have been any better. We're talking about a tiny, tiny sliver of court that goes directly towards the target. Anything outside that sliver, you're always just prompting yourself to make a little bit of an adjustment with your contact point. And when you finally start hitting balls where the ball is coming towards you, that's where timing comes into play. It's about lining up the timing of your forward swing with the incoming ball. That's when it's most challenging. Working on this in an isolated environment with a dropped ball is the best way to start to get familiar with the relationship between your contact point and where the ball goes. And then you can expand from there and become very precise, very consistent in all other kinds of real life environments without having to clamp down and get tight and steer and direct the ball. If you enjoyed that lesson and you'd like more, make sure to go pick up a copy of my new book, Essential Tennis, co-written by my good friend here, Joel Chasnoff. And inside this book is really the culmination of my entire coaching career, the last 20 years of working with students, helping them make breakthroughs. And this book contains the most important elements that you need at the foundation of your game, for tactics, for technique, for the mental game, for learning how to improve and self-guide. So if you're looking to break through to the next level, this is full of 38 chapters, the most important principles, as well as lots of video lessons that are connected to the book material and content, case studies. It's just incredibly, incredibly insightful and valuable. So if over the years I've brought you any value at all through my online lessons, and you'd like to help support me, then do me a favor, go to Amazon or anywhere else books are sold and go pick up a copy today.